Gloc Party Podcast. It's Machete Trevi.
You know what it is? Chrome. You know who we're with, though? Gratitude. That's who we got. We got Monk.E in the building.
Hey.
You know, we do it a bit different at the Gloc Party Podcast. So normally people would spend 25 minutes listing off everything Monk.E's done. We're just going to say you're stupid if you don't know who he is. But I'll still go over a couple accolades that I'm aware of. So Monk.E, who's... Well, I just want to go over what you do. You're an artist, right? So what do you mainly do? I know you. I found out about you because of rap. Okay. And then once I found out you were a rapper, I found out a lot of the nicest things in Montreal, murals and things that I really appreciate were also painted by you.
That's fresh.
Which just opened up a whole other... And I remember our first interaction was at a battle rap event where you told me I was battling at that event. You were performing at that event, and you told me you also battle rap. So then I knew you were making music, you were an artist, you were a battle rapper. What am I missing?
I most likely complimented you, right? If you
did
battle. Because
That's why we're friends. That's why you're here.
Okay.
Facts, you did the same thing to me, bro.
Yeah,
when I met this guy, he just came up to me.
Hey,
Yo,
what do you mean? Like,
positive vibes.
Gratitude.
Qui se ressemble,
that's how I know you.
s'assemble.
Facts.
I think that's the only time we ever
Go
met,
talk.
really.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And actually on net, I showed love also.
Of course.
Stuff like this,
but in person, that was the only time we
exactly.
met. Yeah.
So what am I missing? If I say Monk.E, I know obviously you're going to give me a super spiritual answer about how you're like mind, body, and soul. But aside from that, like, tes chapeaux de profession. What do you wear?
So mes médiums professionnels,
je
dirais je suis muraliste, je suis artiste visuel, donc je fais des toiles, donc pour les galeries, tout ça. Je fais du body painting, je suis graffeur, je fais du graffiti professionnellement aussi. That's on the visual side of things, but I'm also co-directing all of my videos. I'm producing. I have 20 albums now that I've self-produced, self-funded, self-promoted. 20 albums, which 9 are solo albums. The other ones are albums that I've produced for duo projects or group projects. Okay. But I'm still part of, or I'm taking charge economically, or I'm producing with other people, but in total I have a bit more than 20 projects, if I'm not counting the mixtapes and everything. So I would say I produced, I co-direct all of my videos. I have more than 35 music videos that I've all been part of scripting and writing and kind of thinking about them. But plenty more I do, and now I'm gonna go to the mind, body, and soul answer if you allow me. Now that I've enumerated the
That's
videos,
why you're here, bro.
I would say we are often told as artists and as entrepreneurs that you reap what you sow, right? First of all, you're not taught that it takes 5 years for that tree, that seed that was put in to grow into something that give fruits back. We want our fruits from the same year we put the seed in. You have to work your shit. You have to continue putting water and water and water selflessly before it actually grows into something that gives something back. So yeah, you do reap what you sow, but then you have to understand how a tree grow, like a fruit tree. It has a lot of, the more it has branches, the more it has capacity to cap the energy of the sun and to transform it into a heavy weight of fruits, right? So these branches are all branches of my tree, right? Body painting, music, concert, conferences, philosophy, communitarianism, traveling. All of these things are different branches that I harvest from because I've invested in for already many years. Right. So now I'm getting booked for conferences for philosophically upholding a certain cause or a certain movement, for painting important official murals, for opening a show for an international festival, and on, because all of these branches are branches of the tree that I've been able to feed and to put water and water and water. So these are the branches for now, but I'm not even 40 years old. I'll have many other branches that will grow from that tree. Maybe I'll produce movie. Maybe I'm getting into fashion. I'm producing all of my clothes are wear by ideas that I've produced. And I would say I'm exaggerating, but I would say 85% of what I'm wearing come from my mind, and then I have someone creating it for me. Like these clothes and not this.
Yeah,
but,
you have your jacket there that
jacket
you wanted to wear, but it's too fucking hot in here.
Yes,
exactly.
Gloc Party
we couldn't
podcast,
get the full
They don't know about that, how it's 9,000
So So yeah, and so these are the ideas. So I choose the fabrics, and then this is from Uganda. I have 3 designers in Uganda that have different styles that I respect and that I admire. And to me, it's a political, spiritual, and fashion choice to send my money in Africa to support local businesses that themselves support the people for the fabric that are also locals and all of this. To me, it was one way to kind of feel in tune with all of the professional branches, because I do harvest a lot from these branches, but I put seed back in the ground. So now there's a lot of trees growing around what I've grown as my tree. So that's why I'm not worried about every year's harvest anymore. I know I'll harvest for years and years and years, you know. So
you're a tree.
That's actually
I'm a tree.
That's
tree as fuck.
I'm a tree.
So you're tree. Yeah,
Yo,
he's
honestly, I
straight
love
up.
trees, bro. I always, since I was a kid, I just look at trees.
But
Fucks
dude, that's
with
why
trees.
I love that, and that's a great fucking analogy for how having different, like, branching out, like, we even call it branching out,
Exactly.
right? We call it branching out for a reason, and I think that's a great fucking analogy on how the more branches you have, the more
Well, yo,
the
his-
more
his
capacity of
trees
harvest,
look
because
wild.
one branch can be in the road now and there's an electric cable,
Yeah.
so it get cut off. So for 1 year you don't eat from that. If that's your only way of eating,
Yeah.
bro, you're not eating anymore. So me, I was not gonna be influenced or controlled by the market itself painting, right? I can't paint all of my murals during summer, but then winter I'm not making money, right? I'm not making big projects. So I had to find ways for every season have his harvest and propose different services.
You could travel.
But when that started, was it in the minding of it's gonna be a business, or it's all you were just an artist at heart? Like, did you branch out in that way because you're business minded, or are you just happen to be an artist that was gonna branch out that way
That's
either
a
way,
beautiful
and you just
question,
happen to be
bro.
business
I enjoyed
minded?
that question. I would say it's survival.
Okay.
It's because I knew I would be unhealthy if I have a 9 to 5. I've understood really early at 13, 14, I understood how
you're lucky.
life was working. I was like, I can't have a 9 to 5. I will be unhappy and
You're
suicidal,
lucky, bro.
right?
It takes a lot of people a long time to learn that.
Yeah.
13, 14 to learn that. That's,
And I knew I was going to be an artist from like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
But at 14, 15, I stopped believing in the system, right? I was like, this shit doesn't work. It's not for me. I don't fit. I have to amputate so many part of myself to be accepted in that society that's not the road. I have to create something for myself. And so my art had to become my 9 to 5. So it became my hustle, like 80 hours a week.
So
90 hours
transitioned
a
into
week.
that. You were basically you were always passionate. You were all, like, either way. Like, I'm asking you the question, but I know you didn't one day start becoming an artist to make money. Nobody does that. That would be the dumbest plan on fucking planet Earth, to say, hey, I'm not really artistic, but I think I'm gonna get into the arts because I hope to profit off it. I don't think anybody that's sane does that. So you were an artist, and you just decided, you know what? Like, I can't work a 9 to 5, but I can make a living off the arts, and you're doing a great job at it. Like, that's the thing. Like, you had the dedication to go out and do what a lot of people wouldn't do, and that's what I want to talk to you about the most. You know, like, I want to know about your experiences, your travels, this and that. But the first thing, before I forget, you told us you spent the weekend with Justin Timberlake.
but we cut
and
him off.
Cameron Diaz. We
wanted
cut
to-
you off because the podcast wasn't started. But if I don't ask you this right now,
Maybe it will get
Yeah,
lost in
exactly.
translation.
So,
Well, it's a nice story. I was
No, you were saying how you hate people.
you said you didn't.
well, I would say the whole experience made me understand what I want and what
Yeah.
I don't want. And
No,
by
it was-
meeting them, I realized that this world is fake. This world is egocentrical and fake and fake and fake and fake.
Well, you were
So-
about to say the story because we were talking about
Yeah.
how when you meet your idols sometimes, like, or you met a lot of artists overseas in your travels, that
You don't
once you
really
meet them, it
vibe
changes,
with
you
her.
know?
Yeah, you don't
Then you
really-
started talking about Justin Timberlake, so we stopped you because it's hilarious.
Yeah. But and I would say
what happened, bro?
to not be negative, a lot
Yeah, it
of
wasn't
people
really
actually
like-
inspire me also. I travel, and some people that are superstars are actually super humble and super
Yeah, of course.
revolutionary. But
Of
some
course.
experience like that one was a bad experience. It was I was in Australia. I was touring with Cirque du Soleil. I was 22 years old,
What were
21
you doing
years
with
old.
Cirque du Soleil?
Cirque du Soleil created a group made out of 6. So it was a super group of 6 group.
Okay.
Those 6 group of 5 person in 6 different countries are brought together for a month under the tutorial of Cirque du Soleil to create an international show for the youth philosophy gatherings that happen every 4 years. So I was chosen. There
Right.
was 5 people chosen from Montreal to represent the diversity of rap. So it was trilingual.
Right.
There was Stack Money, which is an old beat maker. He used to produce for Sans Pression and all of this. He's a graffiti artist.
Okay.
He's a big brother to me as a graffiti artist.
Okay.
One of the first big pioneer of graffiti in Montreal. So it was him.
Right.
I wanted him as my DJ in Australia because I know he was painting also, so I could go on mission to paint with him also in Australia. And then there was Sola, which is a singer from Peru. And there was a brother and sister, Chile and Baby K, that are brothers and sisters from El Salvador. So basically we were representing the 3 parts of Americas, right? The 3 Americas. So we named ourselves Ameritmo, Amerirhythm,
Okay,
let's
right.
say.
That's so dope.
Ameritme. So basically we were chosen to go meet all of these other youth from Brazil, from Colombia, from Australia, from South Africa, from Paris, and together create a big show under the ideas of Cirque du Soleil. So then when we did the show, it was a full month, it was a lot of things. And our after party was in a club in which on the 2nd floor, Justin Timberlake was there.
Right.
And I was with the break dancers from Paris. So in Montreal, it was a music group that was chosen. In Paris, it was a break dance
So
group.
you guys
that was
obviously
chosen.
hit it off. you had to look out for each other over there.
So basically, the break dancer calls out Justin Timberlake, right? Justin Timberlake is on the 2nd floor,
dance? To have a dance off?
and the dancer is calling him on the floor, and Justin Timberlake is not answering, so he's doing like the chicken dance on the floor, right? So now the bodyguard of Justin Timberlake hides his face, and the bodyguard gives us the finger like this, right? Huge bodyguards. So I tell the people, hey, let's calm down. We're not here for bad vibes.
Yeah.
He didn't want to battle. Let's do our thing, right? We're at the bar, we're drinking. There's this dude knocking on me. Tok, 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 tok. Yeah, Justin Timberlake want to talk to you. Nah, nah, nah. So we go upstairs, me and the other breakdancer. And Justin Timberlake start talking to us and being so friendly and so into us and curious and proposing idea. Yo, we could collaborate on your painting. I show him painting and like he's really like I thought I met a best friend, right?
Yeah.
I was so surprised. He introduced me to the owner of the club. I get the mic. I go back downstairs with my group from Cirque du Soleil. Right. We are on the where the DJ is.
Yeah.
Rocking the freestyle in 3 languages. Amazing night, right? We get drunk. Cameron Diaz is there, but from the beginning, she's not giving attention to us. She's like kind of hating on us, or even hating on him for chilling with us, right?
Yeah.
So then he brings us on the next day, kind of for his last show in Australia.
Okay.
So we go and he say, hey, bring your portfolio. We're gonna chill and na. We watch the whole show, and honestly, it's not because of what happened after, right? My idea with him was really more as a status. I was gaining a status. What he was doing in the show, I felt it was not nice. He did like a 10-minute song, the McDonald's song. Da-na-na-na-na, I'm loving it. That song. That's what he used as the way to introduce his different musician. Okay. So now he has the drum that is doing solo on that song. And then you have the bassist, and so the song is like 15 minutes. The McDonald's songs with McDonald's banners everywhere, you know. And it's all young little ladies and all of these things, right?
Yeah.
So the whole time we're tired. We've been rocking our own thing. I've been painting. I've been doing my shows. Yeah. So we're kind of tired and uninspired. So we wait the whole show. We go to see him at the end of the show, and he pretend he don't recognize us.
Oh, after telling you to come through.
Exactly. And he's like, oh no, I don't. Yesterday, no, we don't. So I was like, oh, are you serious? All of this yesterday was just a joke. You felt kind of. I don't even know if he was him egocentrically answering as a battle, right? His way to battle is like, okay, little boys, come see my show tomorrow, and on tomorrow see how big I am and fuck you, right?
Yeah.
That's how I understood it.
That's
so I was like,
yo,
this is so fake. You don't need to... Anyway, so from there I understood that from the beginning, the vibe that Cameron Diaz had is probably because she felt that he had no business interacting with us. We were not part of the same society, right? Yeah. I was there with Cirque du Soleil, but I was a youth kind of babbling into the art industry, right? So, and I was naive thinking that actually this is how things happen, right? This is how Hollywood works, but it's not the way
But
it
it could,
works.
bro. It's not true, bro. You could meet someone that you
No,
kick it off with and you become friends.
It could. No, it
it's
could.
just that he
These
would
things-
seem to be a whack dude for that.
And
It's like it's case by case.
Yeah, exactly.
Facts.
So some
But-
people you
exactly.
meet them, bro. You show them your portfolio.
That's
It's
true.
crazy connection, you know, and you can be friends for
I'll
life.
give you an
So.
example. Like it wasn't like as close as you, but I met. I got two stories. I got one that sounds like yours a little bit. I was in studio with Onyx.
Okay.
You know the group Onyx.
Yeah,
Fred Star,
obviously.
And what's his name? Sticky Fingers.
Mm-hmm.
But you see Fredro, just his attitude when you see him as an artist, you can kind of guess how he is. Same shit. Same shit. Arrogant. What the fuck is here? What the man? Can I smoke here? What the fuck is going on, man? Look, man, get the fuck out of here, man. Man, what are you, man? Man, get the fuck, man. Let me just spit my shit and get the like be straight up like that. So to me, I thought they were gonna be like the cool guys in studio smoking weed, relax, passing the spliff and all that. Nah, bro.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Let me do my shit and get the fuck
I
out.
wasn't the one recording, just for people to to know I was just filming, but they were so disrespectful to the artist. I couldn't believe it, man.
Wow. So, and what's your idea? You think it's because they were paid, they were doing business?
I would say
they
straight
didn't
up
want to.
respect.
They didn't
I
want to
believe
enter
they-
in personal
They
relations.
didn't really relate to the artist.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. And on top of that, bro, like, give me my money, let me record my shit.
Yeah,
and
I
all
understand that. But and it's fucked up, huh? Because there's a way I kind of understand it now. I used to always kind of, I don't know if that's the word in English, Sean? Is it Sean upon or to frown? I don't know.
Frown
Like,
upon.
frown upon, like to kind of dislike these attitude of divas. And in the last year, I started feeling that I sometimes have reactions that are somewhat picky or
Like you're a diva kind of
they're
thing.
peculiar, or and it's because we get disrespected all life long. Like I was saying earlier, since I'm 17, I'm a professional artist on many mediums that is underestimated, underappreciated, underpaid since I'm young, and I've been fighting for every ounce of freedom and abundance that I gain right now in my harvest come from the fact that I stood up in front of the fights and I fought my fight. When I was disrespected intellectually and taken advantage of, I won in court many times. It happened 4 times already. People try to take from me. And I'm at a point where I'm impatient. So I do understand, and it's fucked up. And where it hurt me the most is that I start feeling probably how a school teacher or a policeman feels after 4 or 5 nights in a row dealing with heroin addicts or with things in the street, having no patience, being in danger, being all of these things. It creates an impatience. That impatience is not welcome. It's not good. But you understand that it comes from certain things, right? And we have to win our battle. We have to remain patient. But I'm starting to feel like being an artist that is in demand like this is something that is peculiar, the type of energy and the type of relation you have to have with humility and with integrity and with courage even, you know, to stand for what you are. And if you are disliked for what you are, then at least you are honest with who you are, and those who understand you will be magnetized by these ideas. But to me, this is part of me understanding at one point in my life that the industry was not going to work for me, and I was actually blessed to be selected to go beyond the industry without corrupting myself by being digested by the industry, right? God blessed me with 2, 3, 4, 5 gifts that combined together create this mega gift that I've put in work. I sacrificed what I had to sacrifice, but for me it was too big for people to think that it comes from Concordia or UCAM, right? I was in school and already they were asking me, where did you study? Do you have a teacher? Because it was like flamboyant, it was explosive coming out of the page, right? So to me it was like, what? This come from God. This come from my understanding of life. This come from the millions of years that created my DNA and my mind to be able to channel the type of ideas that I'm channeling, right? So to me, there's not one institution, one school, one art gallery, one music label that will be able to claim to own my divine gift, right? So from early on, I was like sovereignty, independence, self-sufficient. So that's why all of my music side was actually financed by my painting side, and I was keeping myself healthy, not being famous, because I do believe that we grow through times, and if we don't build on knowledge of self. We don't know how to be have integrity because we don't know we have to be loyal to what. We don't understand who we are, so we are influenced, you know. But once you are more stable on how people perceived you and who you really are and your roots, then it's easier to do big move and to be on the spotlight, because now all of your immature arrogance will be cleaned away. All of your insecurities will be washed away. You'll just be yourself, right? And that's why I think it's the leap of faith. As an artist, you are judged and critiqued and attacked and stolen from and underpaid constantly. So it creates that drain. You are drained.
Well, being like that, do you feel salty when you see artists that comes with like one-hit wonders and they be rich and all that?
No, I don't, and maybe one of my, I would say no, I would be probably lying, because I do have some sort of, I'm a human being. There's a moment where I do feel jealousy or I do feel envy. So yeah, I'm not a pure human and completely, but I do understand intellectually that it's not the way to go about it, right? So I always kind of clean myself of these things and I send blessings. And through what I've learned in my spiritual path, your enemies and those who actually reflect or trigger something in you are the people you need to pray for, because they are you. They are something that triggers still your insecurities and something you need to go through. So you don't hate on these people and these obstacles. You actually kind of love it and carefully care for these places so you could heal yourself, you know?
That's crazy.
So
That's big knowledge.
So, but yeah, but that is the mind, body, and soul part.
Yeah.
But the truthful day-to-day part, yeah, I do feel jealousy sometimes. Yeah, I do feel undervalued sometimes. Yeah, I do feel misunderstood and but you know what? All of these things make me still hungry. So I'm still there. I'm still out there searching for the best metaphor, searching for the best concept, for the best album cover, for the best collaboration, for the best communitary
The best
idea,
podcast.
the best podcast.
Okay, the end of the podcast, I think.
And talking about the podcast, I think that's a good way to tell you guys that little knowledge. The Gloc is a weapon that is highly effective. And it was after being kind of like tested and kind of reshaped, it was put on the market in 1982, which is my year of birth. And
That's why you own the podcast, right?
Yeah.
and this is
that's
what we
he
were
said.
talking earlier. It's
The
kind of
man
like
behind the scenes.
it's an intellectual ownership where by telepathy I was capable of having the weapon of choice that would be used in the North American podcast of Battle and MCing, and choose to come on Earth on the same year so I could fire munitions of light beams, of
Yo,
munitions.
Monkey, yo.
He
You
was
think
being ready.
aliens have been to Earth?
Oh, we are aliens.
No,
my
no, no, no.
brother.
Do you think like next? So you think like we're like made by aliens?
I think we are made up of extraterrestrial matter.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
Obviously, so
Yeah.
in that sense, yeah, we are made
no,
of
I'm saying
everything
like,
that
do you
is
think
part
another
of the
another
universe.
civilization has came here from somewhere else, landed here, or said what's good, shown their flying saucer and left? Or do you think like
I think it's more possible than Adam and Eve being two white people with a maple leaf hiding their sex.
yeah, facts? Because that's like a whole incest story. So it doesn't even
And
make
that's
sense.
that's not even what was written.
No,
These
no,
are just
so-
like interpretation and mind games. So mind games are everywhere. I don't know. I don't
So you
like.
think aliens could be behind creation then?
I think aliens are behind
Okay.
creations. I think that we are aliens.
What we perceive
Everything
as,
is like.
but do you think what we perceive as God is an alien?
Okay, like we could even go to the Bible, right? If we think it's a valuable reference. I don't know.
I don't know.
Cross
I think across time the Bible is proven to not be like.
Okay.
I think historically it has a lot of importance. I think there's some good morals, like there's some good stories in the Bible, and there's some things you could learn from the Bible.
Mhm.
But I just don't think any of what's written in the Bible is like historically accurate. You know, I
Okay.
think it's more metaphors meant to
I understand that. Yeah.
guide people to live a certain type of way. So I never really like to look at, like, when I ask you the question, do you think, let's say, that the concept of God, because for me, for example, I'm not religious, and like I don't consider myself a Christian or whatnot.
Yeah.
I grew up like I did my fucking communion and my confirmation and shit like that. So I grew up like a Catholic,
Mhm.
but I don't consider myself religious at all. But I like to believe there's something bigger. I like to believe there's a God. So it like, but that's the thing. I'm not opposed to saying maybe this God or whatever is actually extraterrestrial. Is that something you're thinking?
The thing I was just saying is that it's not even just the Judeo-Christian. I would say it's most of the different paths of belief and religion.
Yeah, they're all very similar though.
And they all talk about spaceship. Like the Bible
Okay.
speak on many level on spaceship. If you really go like for a couple of years, I went into like wanting to really know and interpret myself some of those books. You know, so I went into ancient Hebrew, ancient Greek, and reinterpreting the words that I was understanding better myself. And recreating the image, and a lot of things are actually way different. Like there's a part of the Bible that says God created Adam and Eve, the man and woman, and called them Adam. So Adam is not one person. You have to understand the code that is behind these metaphors, right? It's all like a code game, and numerology and astrology and politics and DNA. It's a big mix of many things. But one of the things that comes is that there's a lot of fire chariots in the skies, right? What is a fire chariot? You know, to me, the fire chariot is some planes, some spaceships. There's something.
It wouldn't be the sun. That wouldn't be a metaphor for like a.
It could be, but that's what I mean. So if you're asking me if it is, I don't know. You see, I've been speaking for 10 minutes, and I can't tell you yes, it is.
A lot of people are confused right now. They might not understand.
Yeah, but so I would say.
You gotta dumb it down a little bit for people too.
Alright.
So people are high right now. They're like, what the?
Yeah, I know, and I'm high
Like
too.
me.
So
Everybody's high. That's
but
watching.
I'll keep the topic back to something more pragmatical. So, I'm not sure. Huh?
So you heard it here
You've
first.
seen it-
Monkey
you've never
thinks
seen,
that
like,
he
shit in
is
the sky?
God. He actually came
Like
and
a
created
flying
this all.
saucer or anything? Because Max has seen flying orbs.
No, I haven't seen
shooting
things
around.
like this, but we have created all this. What you just said right now, that's our credit. We are co-creator of these and our ancestors, right? So maybe that's a bit more pragmatical, but I don't believe in a structured idea like Illuminati this or Republican Dominican this. All of these have agendas, right? They all have someone controlling the branding and the agendas. So I try to see the world through cross-reference and asking different cultures, different friends, different generations what they think about a topic, you know? So, but I still don't know, and I think that's the basic of why we are good as artists and why we are good as philosophers, is because we accept that there's a level of learning every day, there's a level of expertise that you gain every day. So
That's important though. That's super important because when you stop trying to get better, then would you get worse? You think if you stop trying to get better?
Well, yeah.
I
'Cause then
think
you're
so.
not really even practicing, right? Like,
But I mean, like even if it's just knowledge, like if you stop trying to acquire knowledge, are you dumber for it?
yes,
I think you are, right?
of course.
I think there's a lot of there's too much importance given on knowledge. I gave too much importance on knowledge. The equation that I was raised under in a hip hop culture is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So knowledge is just one part. It's the facts, the information. We love to be facts. But we all know that we can put different facts together and create a lie. That's what we do in battle rap, right?
Create a narrative,
I've seen this screenshot of you, so now you are this and this and this, right?
Facts.
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 So,
I've
facts.
seen that. Facts.
So facts is the knowledge. I think we need to have wisdom and understanding. Understanding is taking that facts and understanding how it applies in your life. And wisdom is the capacity to make the good decision once you understood how it applies in your life. So yes, knowledge, but wisdom also and understanding. We need to understand what we are in. I've been gaining knowledge and lacking humility by gaining knowledge. So this is not the way. Humility is the way to me. Even in battle rap, if you are humble and you come hungry
but
to the battle.
didn't you tell your opponent? Chrome was telling me.
Yeah, I quoted your
he
latest
was-
line that made me buzz was what was it? Your salary. I paid
is
more
the
than
third-
taxes, and your salary,
Your salary
is the third
of what I pay in taxes.
Yeah, that's fire. That's the type of line I would write, and that's something I wanted. I'm glad you bring that up. That's something I wanted to
fire.
talk to you about because I know you as like a super humble dude. And by the way, I'm not saying that you saying that line doesn't make you a humble dude. You're still a super humble dude. But I'm curious to know because I know like I like to make those type of lines. You know what I mean? I like to write that type of shit. I just think it's cool. I just think it's something that's very underused in battle rap. People rarely use their real life success outside of battle rap to like kind of flex in a battle, and I think that is super fucking effective, bro. And like that's always been part of what I like to do. And I'm curious what a guy like you, like I said, I know you as like, you know, being humble all the time, or at least I know. Listen, you're an artist. You're a battle rapper too. I know you have some ego. We all do. You know what I mean? So even if you seem very humble all the time, I know you have a big ego.
There's a lot of storm, a lot of things, a lot
for
of
sure,
emotion.
for sure. No matter what you tell me, I know you have that ego. So I'm just curious to know, because your image is still very like humble and all that. What do you think about that? What do you think about that approach in battle rap in general, and even in music? Like just flaunting different success. You know what I mean? Like not just because, especially in battle rap, we're very petty about shit, right? Like oh, your girlfriend's fat, or you like we're talking about some petty, unimportant shit. You know what 100%. I mean? So when somebody comes and says, "Yeah, well, I own property and I like," you know what I mean? Like, or I do this, or like it's a. I think it's super effective, you know, especially if the guy you're battling showed up in some, you know what I mean? Like
showed up and used us.
Yeah, exactly.
And to me, I think it's more effective if it's actually true, right? So obviously, if it's part of if it's part of your if it's part of your reality and you're boasting about something that is true, it will have even more energy related to it.
For sure, exactly. And it doesn't have to be. Listen, you could say like, you know, like I'm not saying you have to be like a millionaire to talk about these type of things, and you know, but as long as you're just, you know, that you're truthfully like more successful, let's say, than your opponent. How effective do you think that is, like in a battle? Like
wow.
Because I know that's not something. That's something I've never seen you do, basically. Besides that one bar that I quoted.
No, that's true. I don't do these. Well, I kind of do, but it's always kind of more jokey. Or I speak about, oh, I went to Uganda, you did this, and to me, these are big accomplishments.
They are
definitely. To live around the world,
100%,
and have true experience around the world. So I think in battle rap, I've been in the laboratory to try to find how to still remain grateful and humble and constructive in a battle that I consider often destructive or often egocentric or unbalanced in certain areas. So I think, to me, I love the process of this becoming like a spiritual study. It's a humbling experience, being screamed at your face,
a bunch of mean
things, you know. So
how many countries have you been to?
27 now.
You counted like that, I knew it.
Yeah.
Can you list them off?
I tried the other day at the podcast and I named 23. I forgot a couple. But we could try,
fine.
But
no, it's okay.
Yeah,
but that's fine.
But in total, 71 international tour. So in those countries, I go multiple times.
All the different cities.
I have 18 tour in Mexico, 17 tour in France,
okay, so
7 tour in
city.
Uganda, and then I go inside the countries, you know.
Holy shit!
So this is my biggest trophy.
How many tours in Uganda?
7 thus far.
7 times.
Yeah.
That's what that was my main question I wanted to ask you. The reason you're on the podcast. No, not really, but this is a big question I wanted to ask you. What is your scariest moment on any of your trips? Like
wow.
Because I know you've done some like actual like, you know, grimy trips where you're really with the people, where you're really in some bad neighborhoods, and you're really in. So, what's the scariest thing that's ever happened to you on one of these trips?
There's one that I've spoke of at Rap Politique. I won't tell that one. So if you just shout out also this other podcast.
Shout out to Rap Politique, man.
Go see the Rap Politique. So, but there's another one that I said on Le Temps d'un Jujube, and you see that's how many there is, and there's many other more. You know, one. Now I was thinking when I was with Amérythme, that group that we went in Australia together. We then toured in Peru, and when we went in Peru, we went to the Machu Picchu. And we chose to go through the road, but the road, they go high and they are small roads sometimes, and we had to stop every 40 minutes to re-secure all of the mechanics of the wheels, and we could see some of the wrecks down the valley, right? So that was in itself, it was scary, so like, but it's not a hood experience. It was just like
it doesn't have to
be. It was
those
terrifying little roads on the
like
side
on the side of the mountain.
Exactly.
Oh my god!
Super, and then sometimes someone coming the other way, and they have to go back, and then you find some place that is large enough, and then they squeeze together, and some crazy shit, bro.
Fuck that.
And
I don't think I could do it, man.
But some other,
it must have been cool though.
I got robbed by a cop in Uganda. That
Oh,
was
yeah?
terrifying. I got robbed 3 times in Uganda thus far. I don't know if I should say those things on camera, but I don't know, they're part of my life. I don't know if someone from Uganda is watching this and want to rob me, but I move differently now. You know, you have educated me on moving differently.
Do you mind
Can't catch
talking about that?
monkeys
Well, like, how
slipping.
did you get, like, was it like a violent robbery or like was it?
It was not. There was no weapon, but it was violent in the energy. You do feel.
Anything could go down.
Yes, and it's also that something is taken from you, right? When someone enter your apartment when you're not there, even if there's no physical violence, there's a violence in the feeling that, oh shit, I'm not safe, right?
Yeah.
And that slaps you right in the face if you forget where you are, right? So my tools have been humility and openness and intuition and being in prayer and, you know, real with the people, looking at the people, giving to the people, because I'm not taking anything physical or monetary, and I bring everything I have there. I don't feel ashamed there. I don't feel
like you're taking
I don't feel I'm
advantage
taking.
or-
I feel I'm part of this, and the response is so immediate that I feel experience with them. I'm bailing people out. I'm funding certain rents, certain businesses, certain ideas to continue while COVID is happening. There's no tourism around the world. There's certain things that are dying. Culture is dying, and because all of my family around the world is culture, I invest myself in my culture, in my community. But there is a certain moment where there is a danger. But because you move a certain way with the spirit, you're always kind of kept safe. But yeah, one of the time I was robbed, we were 2 on a bicycle late at night, and we don't have the right to be 2, but in Uganda, you could be 8 on a bicycle with a cow and 2 chairs, and you're good, as long as you're all Ugandan.
Yeah.
The moment there's a Muzungu, the moment there's a white boy on that bike, hey, money, right? You don't have the right to be 2, but at the same time, you don't want to be alone with the Boda driver. The Boda is the bicycle, because they are the street gangs. Their corner is their corner, and they manage the street gang. They're not finable. A lot of them come from different countries, from in Uganda, but are not listed. It's really, and I'm not saying this to scare anyone or most of the people, and I would say 99% of my interactions are divine and pure and human and real. But I'm just talking about the surrounding of how socially it is, right? The street is there.
And it's not
hungry.
it's not an
People look for
indictment
opportunities.
on
Man,
Uganda or the
if you
people
were in
there either. You know,
Chirac,
there's
it
that.
would be the same thing.
Exactly. There's that type of energy everywhere in the world. It's just we're a lot more familiar with that type of energy in the places we know. You know, we don't know about Uganda. We don't know about a lot of the places we've been. That's why I'm asking you. You know, like what kind of situations have you? Because I've been to places like just when I go to Mexico, for example. You know, and I see the cops like dressed in SWAT. You know what I mean? Sitting on the back of a pickup and shit like that, passing through the streets. You know you're not home. You know it's different out there, and that's just a very like Mexico is in America. I'm right there. You know what I mean? So I can't even imagine when you're really like. You know, you're far, very, very far from home, and shit hits the fan. It must be.
But I do have to say that Mexico is a scary place. Mexico,
some places
it's
I've
close
been
to
in,
us, but it is some of the most or just weird, awkward thing. Like some of the deep self-destruction. Like a lot of people in communities on crystal meth, like deeply, like. Crystal meth houses and people that come out of town, like in one of the city where I go and I paint, and I'm in the hood. Like in that city, it's 1.4 million in the city, and they record between 60 to 90 homicide a month. And I'm there in the streets painting, rapping my ass off. Oh, that's another thing. One day in Mexico, I was in a party. They were welcoming me to a party, and we were maybe 80% in a parking lot. And one of the dude arrives with the ex-girlfriend of the other, and it blew up. The other one came back with his gun, started showing off his gun. People on each side, you know, kind of like not even running, kind of like arguing, putting people. Like they put me inside, you know. They kind of cleared the streets and stuff like this, and nothing happened, nothing bad. But these are like sparks of humanity, and me, I love to be there. I don't feel scared because I understand these are emotional human beings. I feel that I have a providence in my life because of my karma, because of my decision, because when I enter a community, I give first. So obviously, everyone see me as a king, or at least as a king from a different kingdom that they welcome. And everywhere I go around the world, I am values, and most of the time, more value than in my own city, you know?
So
Unless I'm at the Gloc podcast, right?
Yeah,
then you feel like a king.
Here we receive
But,
no other, that's for sure.
But the general idea is that I feel protected. So I do allow myself to be prudent, but to go where humans are and human lives and human suffer and laugh and dance and create.
Yeah, exactly. You
So
don't.
you-
Well, that's you really strike me like you're not. You're not a tourist. You know what I mean? In the
but your
sense
main reason for traveling is to paint, right? Is painting or what? Is like
No, it's a mix of everything. The old tree
Yeah.
get imported. Like for example,
your whole tree gets imported.
I was the first time I went to Africa was in Uganda, and it was because I was the third time Canadian champion of end of the week.
Yeah.
The world final was in Uganda.
Right.
That year, someone in the crowd saw me and decided that I was going to become. Actually, I challenged him philosophically, and I won the challenge. And
Okay,
because I
what's
won
a philosophical challenge?
Okay, he told me he was.
Sorry, I
Okay,
don't
no, that's
go
cool.
too far,
Okay,
but
he-
like, bro, I want to try.
he was proud
Yeah.
that he is the one in charge of the French festivities in Uganda, when Uganda doesn't have French as its national language, right?
Okay.
They have English and Luganda. And he was proud that for the past 4 or 5 years, he's the one that do the programmation, right?
Okay.
And I told him, I'm sure for the past 5 years, it was someone from Paris.
Yeah.
Because that's what the colony we live in, right? In the French colonies, it's the French center of the empire
Yeah.
that rules shit. They are the ones seen as the expert. They are the one. So even if they didn't, so at that time I told him this, and he wrote to me later, said, yeah, you're right. These are all
Yeah.
from Paris. This year would like a Québécois, would like you to
Yeah.
take that position, right? So, and to me, even if I truly believe that that position should be filled by someone from Congo or from Senegal just beside, right? At least I was seeing this as a step towards something different, like taken out of the center.
Yeah.
This thing. And me, what I did, I took my power in my charge to make sure that it was not a white French thing happening. And I invited my favorite English rapper of the city,
Right.
Ruyanga, which was the host of the end of the week.
Okay.
And I invited my favorite Luganda rapper, which
Right.
is Nelly Saint, which is the president of the end of the week.
Okay.
And I had an hour, so I did 20 minutes in English, 20 minutes in Luganda, and 20 minutes in French.
Right.
And to me, these are the ways that I'm conscious of privileges.
That's
I'm
dope.
conscious of unbalanced things, and I can't commit suicide. I can't not shine my light. I have to find a way that is just and righteous and equitable to share the fullness of my.
So a philosophical battle is like, basically to you is like any situation that gets brought to you in like.
I would say yes. I choose my battle, but
Yeah.
sometimes
if you want something and something's in your way, you feel like you have to outsmart everybody.
No, that's not the idea. No, it's more if there's something that I think it's unethical or it's conservative or
Yeah.
something that I think it's not progressive, it's not fruitful. Sometimes I will. Too often I mentioned it, and
Yeah.
that's my problem. That's why sometimes. But it's also I feel it's my integrity. That's natural selection.
Yeah.
I've offended a lot of people, and fortunately, a lot of those people forgived me for it, right? So then to continue a relation, you learn how to speak to each other and to relate. But to me, my borders, my value, these are things that are unnegotiable. We have to have an understanding of it. But what I'm worth, after what you pay, that is negotiable. But my value itself, it's worth billions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
So we have, once we understood that and we understand that what you worth is also billion, and we invest certain things and we both grow from it, then it's okay. But yeah, anyway, all of this to say philosophically is when something I feel is unethical, I
Yeah.
would challenge these
Yeah,
things.
okay,
I would
and
say,
then you'll take
yeah,
it.
you don't think that's racist, or oh, you don't
Yeah.
think that's a bit stupid, or you,
That's dope.
sometimes I do
That's
these.
what that's what
I do these philosophical challenge, and I enjoyed my friends who do that to me.
But I like that you just call
That's
it
why
a
we're friends,
philosophical
because-
challenge, bro. Like it's not really. That's like making a real change in a community.
No, not
That's
really,
a
because
dope-
it is because your philosophy is the way you see life, or it's the way you see things, right? If I understand it correct, like
Yeah.
if you're talking like if I think something, right? Especially if I believe it, and I'm saying something, and you challenge me, with like a different way of viewing life or whatever. That is a philosophical challenge.
Yeah,
you
I know.
And a lot of times,
It's
if I end up saying, you know what, bro, like, yeah, you know. And in the example he was bringing up, it was more so like he was making the guy realize something. You know, he was like, hey, I bet you these guys were all from Paris, and the guy's like, fuck yeah, they all were. You know, so he's like, you think that's okay? You know, you think that's how? And I understand what you mean. Like you knew that was probably the case, and you didn't think that was okay that all the representatives were from.
It's neo-colonization.
And just
Still
by bringing
the same status
exactly,
quo,
and
right?
just by bringing
so
it up,
philosophically, I'm like, I don't think that's right, and I'm just challenging you on this. And a lot of people feel offended by this, but I think that's something that is good about hip hop. Everywhere I went around the world, that b-boy energy, that battle rap, that ego trip energy is understood as a language, even if we don't speak the same language. And I do believe it's something of affirmation. I used to be uncomfortable with it, but no, it's also, you put this is what I am, this is my reality, let me define myself in that reality.
definitely.
So that's why I love hip hop. We all have an artist name. We all have a superhero identity, right? Our name is all related to our superpower, right? To our vision of how we see ourselves as artists. And hip hop has allowed me to take hold of my identity, of my name,
it helps
of my.
you to be like affirmative of what you think, and like it helps you to. I think that makes sense. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's why we've always got along, just because I'm one to always challenge everybody, whether we agree or not. You know what I mean? I'm always willing to be.
Speaking of hip hop, I'm just wondering.
Tell me.
What would be your ideal versus battle?
Versus battle. You know, I haven't seen much of the verses thus far. You know,
So just you
as an idea.
as a hip hop fan, like what would be your ideal versus?
Because they just put two artists against, like they put their greatest hits against each other, you know.
Who would I put? It's hard to be original because I would. It's hard to be original because I would say things like Nas and Jay-Z or something like that. Because it's not original. But I would do something like, Jay Dilla is not here, but I don't know.
Jay-Z's fire though. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one, but I think it's too cliche. Like it's so, but that's okay. I don't need
That's
to
a
be
good
the.
one, bro. Whatever. If that's what
No,
you want to
say
hear.
what
It's Jay-Z. It's a good
No,
one.
you
If that's
like
the one
it.
you. If that's
Yeah.
if that's the one you.
It's not cliche at all, bro. It's not a cliche to
Yeah.
like good rappers, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But that would be fire because they had a long career.
Yeah.
But I would put Busta Rhymes somewhere. I would like to see a versus with Busta Rhymes somewhere.
Yeah.
But
You don't think
maybe
it
it's
would
a
fire?
it's a
Busta
tree.
Rhymes?
But I don't think he's has the same level as far as status. But I don't know.
Yeah, but in a versus, anything is possible, right? It's all about bangers, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like some
There's a
guys
lot of
who are not
bangers.
as big
You
as.
need the right playlist.
But I would
Got
like
you
to see.
on.
I would like to see something like Impost et Connaisseur. I would like to see that. I would like to.
You should, I actually tried to make it happen.
That's
I mean,
beautiful.
unfortunately, it didn't work out. Maybe because of the label made thing.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
the case
I'm
is.
not sure.
But we still cooking something with.
Well, that's just an idea, but I would like to see these type of things, you know.
The local versus.
You
You
saw
know,
Sans
or
Pression,
you-
Sans
You want to see
Pression
more
or
of that
Rain
local
Man?
shit.
You said what?
We did Sans Pression, Rain Man.
Yeah, I didn't even see that one.
No, we did that
To
one.
be
That
honest.
was the-
What was your favorite country that you visited?
Ouch, it's hard to say, but
Like landscape wise, like let's say for
landscape
views,
is a good
for
question.
views, you
For
know?
views, Mexico has to be named. Obviously, it's so diverse. Mexico is one of the most beautiful
Yeah, you
places.
could be in the jungle.
Okay,
you could
that's
be-
it. Nouvelle-Calédonie is by far the
Nouvelle-Calédonie.
New Caledonia. It's between Fiji Island and Indonesia. It's in the middle of nowhere.
That sounds fire.
And it's and that's a beautiful story too. I gave a graffiti class in Marseille in 2006, and then one person I gave a class to got married, moved to those islands, and got a huge contract to repaint the communication tower of the island.
Okay.
Wow.
And I get invited as international artist and main act of the hip hop show. And my DJ is the king of Zulu Nation France, which is Dynasty, which
Okay.
he imported hip hop in '82 from California. He was living there and brought it back to France, and he became Zulu king in France.
That's dope, bro.
And the place was crazy.
Shout
I'll
out
show
to
you after
Dynasty.
this. I still have it in my phone. But you go in Pine Island and these places, it looks virgin. It's a huge island. They have 60 person on it. and it's surreal. It's beautiful. You see everything is huge. Sharks. Everything is clear. Everything is beautiful. It looks like the Earth is preserving a part of itself for when humans are not going to be there anymore, to be able to kind of regrow purely over the world, you know.
This is like one last place.
But now we out here doing graffiti and shit.
Exactly. No, but you know what? But that's something that I've changed in my life, man. I've decided to use less aerosol, man, and to be more conscious with this. I paint more with roller. A lot of my big art pieces now are made with extension and roller. I draw everything with rollers. I still don't really use projection.
It's like
it's like that. I'm really
Isn't that really hard though with a roller?
It is hard.
Yeah, man.
It is hard. It takes decades to
Yeah.
master.
Yeah.
But and that's okay because that's
know.
what I've been doing. You see, it's fire.
They heard.
Babylon is. I don't know if they're
They
in,
heard
but
about it. They're like, whoa, okay, he pulled out the rollers.
but ayahuasca maybe, or we already been there.
What?
Ayahuasca.
Oh
No.
my God. Okay, that's what we have to end off on.
Okay.
I had one last question for you.
Did we talk about battle rap enough? Like, because it's about battle rap. No?
We don't battle rap anymore though.
No.
No, we're
Okay.
classical ballet.
We're just
I'm with you,
professional podcasters.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
You see
Full
it?
time.
So
It's not a battle podcast.
okay.
Yeah, we talk about that
Okay.
shit. My next question was.
It's even better. 'Cause
My
we're gonna
next
bring people
my next
somewhere else.
question was, have you ever done DMT?
Actually, not as DMT itself as something extracted. Some people smoke DMT. Me, I don't do this. But I did once a ceremony where the soup of ayahuasca is actually cooked by a Brazilian master. And then I go through the process and the fasting and the prayers and the meditation.
Holy shit.
And then I do ayahuasca and then I'm still digesting. It's been like 2 years now. And I would say, to me, this is what replaced, I would say, consulting a psychiatrist or something like this. This is my higher self talking to me. This is myself, my subconscious showing part of itself to my consciousness to understand my own traumas, my own.
And how long does it take for all this to
weaknesses.
happen? Like all this that you're describing, which sounds like years of.
It happens in one night. It
Okay.
happens in one night, and then you digest and you understand and you incorporate and incarnated that wisdom.
Yeah, you said it was
know?
like being reborn, right? It was like.
That's the feeling. Maybe that's cliche, maybe that's stereotype, but I would say it's definitely a reality check, a self-inflicted reality check that has beautiful part of it, because the reality is that we are beautiful and intelligent, but the reality is also that we're dumb and ugly. So you get
You're
both
born with this. You're
slapped
born
in your
with this
face.
molecule in your brain, right?
We are at the
And
birth and
I
the
know
death.
that when you die, there's a molecule that gets released that kind of like DMT or whatever. I've heard this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 100% facts.
I think it is DMT.
If it is, like, doesn't doing it before you die get rid of that? Like, wouldn't it fuck with that molecule in your brain that you're supposed to use when you die? You know what I mean? Like, do you think it's like how you know when you smoke piff and like you slowly like stop being affected by the effect?
I would say this is how I take aspirin and Tylenol.
And then that would make a lot of sense.
I take these pills, understanding that they're bringing something, but they're killing something else. Okay, I don't have my headache, but my liver right now double work. Right.
Yeah.
So this is how. So I feel in my life. That's why I was telling you earlier, because I feel I have somewhat of an addictive. I never did cocaine, right? Just because I have to choose my battles, right? I'm already like involved into a daily life that is not the most healthy, right? There's certain things, sugar and weed and this and that, you know, that we have to cut off from our life. But I would say, to go back to ayahuasca, a lot of people do it because they were heroin addict or whatever they were, and they take it as a ritual. This is a cleansing ritual. This is not an entertainment drug.
No.
This is an ancient medicine. To me, that's how I see it.
It's
so
crazy,
once you understand the sacredness of it, you do it in that sacredness,
how hard
and
they
everything
were
goes
tripping
good.
back in the day in the woods. Like,
They were.
with all the animals around them and like in the dark and shit. You know, they just had little like fires
there's
going, like, bro. And then they were taking this shit, bro. Imagine how hard
Trevor's
they were
back to
tripping.
animals. Yeah.
Imagine how hard they were tripping, though.
But like they even say
Right.
that from the humanoids to the Homo sapien, it's the discovery of mushrooms that got them higher consciousness so quick, right? That's a theory, right? That's some people. That's what they say. So
Really?
yeah, that's what
Well,
they
it
say.
kinda
They
makes
say
sense.
that's what brought consciousness. They saw their death. They saw life. They were at a meaning to something deeper, right?
Reindeer piss, bro. Did you know that's where Santa comes from?
The what?
Reindeer piss.
I don't know what.
There's like reindeers in Sweden that eat like berries that or some shit that fucking, and then they eat mushrooms. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then they pee, and apparently like ancient humans used to like whatever drink the pee, and fucking lose like their shit. You know, like it would fucking.
I believe these things.
And they saw like
See
a
the
red guy in a
fly?
fucking guy flying reindeers and a fat guy in a red suit, and that's where. It
Wow,
fucking
hey man, that's we're all
That's
made
where
of we're all made of stories, and that's
St.
what battle
Nicholas.
rap is also. You know, we're all made of stories,
Fire.
and there's so many more stories. There's so many things I wanted to ask you about your relation to pride and ego in battle rap. How do you humble yourself? How do you receive punches? All of these things that we
Dude,
didn't touch
when
on.
I battle people, like I find nothing they say to me affects me at all.
No.
Like a few times, but never really like. I've never actually gone home and been like, oh my god, like ever. Not once have I ever like been
Yeah, I'm the
physically,
same.
like personally affected, like to a point
Same
where
thing.
I shouldn't
I've
battle
never
again,
like I've
I
never
shouldn't.
been affected. Like the only times I've been affected by the outcome of a battle was if I didn't perform how I wanted to perform.
Right.
If I got there and I feel like my material was good and I did good, I'm not even listening to what the fuck this guy's saying. You know what I mean? Like he's not gonna expose. Like I'm transparent enough with myself where you're not gonna expose anything about me. You know what I mean? If you think you found something,
Yeah,
it's probably something I'm very comfortable with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like. I've never really felt like
I'm the
any
same
type
way,
of
bro.
pressure on that end. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, and that goes back to what you were saying before, like how it's important to stop being anxious about what people are gonna say, what people are gonna think, how you're gonna brand, and just be yourself. And that's the only way to actually make it as an artist. Because at the end of the day, yeah, if you have a big label behind you, you know what I mean, and you're pretending to be something you're not, it's gonna work for a while. But if you want to have like a grassroots movement behind you and you want to build something, you have to be yourself. And I think that goes with battle rap too. You know, I think it's like if you're like I said, I'm comfortable with myself. There's nothing anybody could tell me that's really gonna hurt me. Like just superficial shit is not gonna, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
feel you.
saying mean things to me, like I do that for a living almost. You know.
So
I think Feezy's trying to fuck you.
Yeah,
and
we're gonna have to wrap this up.
he's
Yeah,
trying to
man.
wrap us
It's
up,
that
huh?
time. We gotta wrap it
yo,
up.
can I send my love? Can I
Yes,
send
of
my
course,
gratitude?
of
Do I have
course.
time to send gratitude before you
Gratitude.
close it, my
It's a
brother?
good thing, good thing.
I want to, first of all, you guys, in a non-corny way, just like for what you're doing, Feezy, you two, you know, I do believe as a French rapper in North America, there's some struggles that the English rapper in Quebec understand, you know, like to be a minority in something bigger, right? To be sometimes don't have the market.
Imagine
for
being a minority in something bigger of a minority of something bigger.
it. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like poupée russe, you
Yeah.
know. So I do.
But no, not really. Actually, I think a lot of what we want to do is bridge the gap too.
Yeah.
Like, because that's why we want to push the
That's
talk in
true.
English.
The one
Because
with-
we do have English people from battle rap that are watching all over North America
Yeah.
that don't know
That don't
shit
know who
about
About
Monk.E
the
is.
French
You know
one,
what I
yeah.
mean?
They don't know who the fuck
like
you are.
it,
They
and
don't know who
it-
the fuck
yeah.
Freddie Gruesome
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
why
yeah,
we're
yeah.
choosing
This-
you guys as.
And this is what I wanted to do, like to thank you guys to be the subculture in that way. But you are reaching to the rest of the Americas and the world because English is the number one
Yeah,
language, you know.
yeah.
So I want to send a shout out to these things, to
Yeah.
bridges between generations,
Yeah,
bridges
Block
between
Party.
styles, between languages, and all of this. You brothers, for the integrity, the things that I spoke that are important to me, I do feel that you have developed that in your personality, humility, and capacity to take criticism and engage philosophically. And so shout out to everyone that are there. Lunettes,
Bodo,
quand même, tu sais,
Lunettes,
tu sais.
Hidden Showroom.
Juste du gros love, man.
Hidden
Gratitude, Fizzy. Merci pour l'inclusion à chaque fois. Toi-même, tu sais, since day one, tu m'as donné du respect et du love. Et toujours, peu importe où je serai sur la planète, je donnerai mes likes, mes shares, mes comments pour supporter le mouvement, pour m'assurer que vos publications se retrouvent visibles dans mon cycle de feed. Puis shout out à vous, man. Shout out, moi, je me sens valorisé par vous, par
We're
votre
blessed
intérêt de
to have
m'avoir
you, bro.
amené ici.
We're blessed to have you, man.
Et je vous valorise beaucoup. Je vois vos battles, je vous trouve talentueux, je vous trouve inspirant. Donc, let's get it, man.
Ciao.
Bang!